We're looking at a level 2 functional skills English writing today. So today we're going to be looking at organising text. Now with this organising text, it's going to be quite simplistic for you. You'll understand once we go through it. All it is you're just looking at different forms of text and how we're going to organise them to look like those. So we're going to look at how we organise letters or reviews or emails, articles, adverts, manuals. So we're going through it because each of them have a slightly different layout. So let's go on here. So the aims and outcomes for today's session. So by the end of today's session, you should be able to state what clear, concise and precise writing is. Know the different formats for different document types. Plan your writing. Proofread your work. You should also be able to try and use clear, concise and precise writing. So you should be able, hopefully able to attempt that. Know how much detail to use depending on what type of text you're writing. And then know typical lengths to certain documents. So how long should a letter be? How long should an article be? And so on. And then you'll be able to use all of the above criteria that we've looked at to achieve a high quality and clarity of format. So to achieve a nice piece of work that's got a good clarity and good format to it. Now in this, it says students will be assessed on their ability to communicate information, ideas and opinions clearly, coherently and effectively, and write text of an appropriate level of detail and of appropriate length to meet the needs of purposes and need and purpose of the audience. So does everybody understand what I've said, or would you like me, is there any words or anything you want me to go over? Is everyone okay? Is everyone okay with the word coherent?
Yes.
Yeah? Fantastic, okay. So what do you actually need to know when you're doing your assessment? When you're going into the centre and you're going to actually be sitting down, you're going to have your test on the on the PCs over there. What do you actually need to know when you're doing this assessment? So in them, there's going to be a section where you'll be asked to organise your writing correctly. So it'll be depending on what the purpose of the text is. So that's why we're doing this today, so that you know what an article should look like, what an email should look like, and what a letter should look like, and so on. You'll also be able to know what textual features are used in these texts. And you already know those, but you need to know what they actually look like when you're doing those. Just had another student join. There you go. So again, like I said, we've got different types of written documents. So you've got letters, emails, manuals, articles, adverts, reports, and so on. And we're going to go over a few of these. The next few slides will just tell you the layout of what they are. So what type of written document is this? Now, we know that this is a manual. Now, we've got, it just lets us know over here that it's a manual. Now, there's a few other things that actually just give it away. It's just a template for a manual. So a manual like a recipe or something that will tell you how to make a cupboard, something how to put something together. Now, we know that it's a manual because you've got the title up here. And then these give it away step 1, step 2, step 3, and so on. And then you've got like a box here just telling you a list. So you've got your title and then you've just got a list of what you actually need to do. This could be a list of ingredients. Over here, it could be a list of the equipment that you're going to be using. It could be a list of the panels or pieces of wood that you've got or the screws that you've got. So again, this layout where you've got the title, then you've got your steps following it, then you've got a box on the side that has a list in it, will show you that this is a manual. Is everyone okay with this?
Yes.
Yeah. Have you ever seen, like think back when you've gone to do some research for a, or you've looked in a recipe book, or you've got a cupboard from Argos or something. And have you ever seen like A4 pieces of paper that look similar to this layout?
Yes.
Yeah, they might be more detailed. They might have a lot more writing in the steps, but there might not just be one little thing. It might be 4 or 5 sentences, but the layout is the same. So the second one, this is a template of a letter. So whenever I write a letter, when I was taught to write letters, this is how we went. We'd go for, my address would be here. Sorry, the address of the person I'm sending it to would be here. So for example, if I'm sending a letter to one of you, I put your address over here. My address would go here because I'm the writer. I'm putting it down. I'm saying, this is me. It's got my name. It's got my address. Salifa is joining too. So we've got the address of the writer, so my address, I'm doing the writing. Then I'll put the date down of when I sent the letter, of what date I'm typing the letter out. So the address of who I'm sending it to, then the address of mine, because I'm the writer, and then the date underneath it. Then you have a salutation that'd be like, dear sir, madam, or hello, or how are you today? Like when I send you guys emails, I always have like a dear all, or how are you? I hope, hi, Lydia, how are you? And then you've got your topic over here. Then you've got your main body of text, so what you actually want to do. This will be, sometimes if I'm sending a formal letter, like for example, yesterday I was asked to send written documentation to B&Q because my mum's got a problem with her sink and it's under guarantee. They said put pictures and write it down in the letter. So I would go FAO for attention of, then I'd put down the manager's name. So that's the topic of what I'm doing, and then I'd write broken sink on that. And then I'd put down the main body of text. I'd write down, there's a crack in the sink, it's over here, it's been leaking for however long, and it's not fixable, it's under guarantee, here's my guarantee papers, I've attached those for you, these are my details, this is the contact number, this is when I bought it, and this is when the problem started, and so on. So you just write the main idea of what you're writing in that. Then you sign it off. You'll just say, regards, or take care, or I hope to hear from you soon, and you put your name down. So again, we're just looking for the students that have just joined. We're just looking at how to organize different documents, because this is something that you might be asked to do in your assessment when you go into the office to do it. So now this one here. So what type of document is this? Now this is a report, but it can be an article. Now a report is more structured, it's quite rigid. So it's more of this sort of format that we're looking at is more of a report or an essay. So it's for a lot of you that might have submitted essays and assignments in for the courses that you've done. For a few of you that have done healthcare, some of you do business, some of you do IT. For all of these, when you've put down your assignment, you put down the title on it, you put down a introduction, you put down the subheading. The subheading will probably be the question on that. Then you put down your answers under it, which will be the paragraphs. And then you've gone through the whole assignment, and you've gone to, and you put down a concluding paragraph. You're finishing it off. Or if you're writing a report, then you put down a title, the same layout again. So the same sort of layout for reports and essays. So it always starts off with a title, then an introductory paragraph, then a subheading, then a paragraph 1, which is the main body of text, paragraph 2, you might have paragraph 3, 4, and 5. It's not necessarily that it just has 2 paragraphs. And then you'd have a conclusion at the end. Remember, these reports, they can be just 2 paragraphs or they can be longer. Don't ever get worried if you see a report that looks like this, but it's got 3, 4, 5, 6 paragraphs in there. Salifa, have you got audio now?
Yes, I have the audio. Thank you.
Fantastic, brilliant. So you've just missed a few minutes. We're just going over, or we're just looking at organizing texts, organizing writing. So the main point of this is, you know what different types of letters, emails, and so on they are, but what sort of layout should they be? So in your assessment, you might get a couple of questions saying, what is the layout for an article? What is the layout for an email? And this lesson will help you with that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So we're going to look at this now. So we're going to look at this template here. This will actually fit an advert. So whenever you've looked at a physical newspaper, which we don't really look at that much anymore, it's more if you go on the internet or you've got Apple News on your phone, it'll still have the same sort of layout. So you have a very big heading on the top. Then you have some text in the box on the side. You'll have a subheading, which might have more info, just telling you what is going on there. Then you've got a main body of text, and then you've got a sidebar. So the large headline is put in at the top. It's normally in an unusual text position. So what they do is they do these positions of the text to break information up, to make it easier for you to read, to be honest. It's unusual. It's not normally what we do for normal writing or standard writing. But this is, they want you to read the articles. They want you to be interested. So they try to jig about the layout to make it interesting. Then they'll put down extra information. They'll create a sidebar. So rather than saying to you, they might be saying there's a new club that's opening in Manchester City Centre, and they might have what sort of features they are, what sort of drinks and music they play, but they don't want to tell you the price and the times in this because it'll get too long and you'll get bored. So you want to be easily identifying things, so they do sidebars and they have like times, prices, dates, all that extra information in one little area, so you're not searching around on it. And then you'll have like contact information like website or physical phone numbers and so on. And now here's another template. So we've looked at manuals, we've looked at articles, we looked at reports, and now we're going to look at a review. So if you think about a review, it's something like if you're doing a book review, a movie review, or if you've ever filled out, you bought an item off, what are those shops? Say if you've gone to game and you bought an item, you've gone and bought a game for the Xbox, and you'll get an email later, can you review this? So you normally fill those out, and so this is something in similar. So you got your title, you got your supplementary information. So you might have saying the title of the game, and you'll be like, this is the great read. You'll have a subheading, you'll have a bit of information there. So paragraph 1, paragraph 2, and then you'll have a conclusion, and then you'll probably rate it. So it'll be something like, this is a review as if you've gone in a formal written review. This is quite a bit of a longer one that you hear. The ones that you see in the internet now, they're a lot shorter. They're only a couple of sentences long and so on. So they're not as big as this, but the information passes the game. So rather than saying paragraph 1 and paragraph 2, on an internet review, you'll probably have line 1 and line 2. But again, the layout is the same. You'll always have a title. You'll always have supplementary information. You'll always have a subheading. You'll always have information for paragraph 1, information for paragraph 2, and then you have a conclusion and put a rating on it. So we've got that there now, and what I want to do is, let me just double check I've not missed there. So we've got a quiz here, so please could you all unmute yourself. There's 4 questions here. I would like everybody to work together and put these pieces of information in the correct order. I'm going to number them, and I'd like you to do the correct order for me. So get my little pen working. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, So you've got 6 pieces of information. This is a letter. So which piece of information should go first?
6.
Your address, 6.
Okay, so 6. That is the sender's address.
Okay, 3, 2 then.
Yeah, so this is true. So let's do 2 here, okay? What goes next?
2.
6.
Sorry, what number did you say?
Number 3.
6.
Number 3?
Number 5.
Yes, number 3 is right. There you go. What would be next?
6.
6, I wouldn't put...
The date.
Oh, actually, sorry. Ignore me there. This shouldn't be there. It should be 2. Then it should, even I've forgotten. It should be number 6.
Yeah.
And then it should be number 3. Yeah. After number 3, so we've done this, we've done this, we've done this.
4.
4.
Yeah. That would go under here, yeah? Brilliant. And then you'd get 3, and then you would get 5. Done.
Number 1.
And then what would you have left over?
1.
1 at the end.
Brilliant. So let's make this a bit neater. You would go 2 and 6 would go side by side. Then 4 would go underneath 6. So your date would go underneath 6. Then you would have number 3, which is ATHE, the festival. Then you would have number 5, and then you would have number 1. And because this is messy, let's show you the nice version that we've got here. There you go. So you've got your information there. You've got the address of the person you're sending it to. You've got your address, the date, what it's about for ATHE, the information, and then you're signing it off. So well done. That was good. Another one now. So I'll number these as well now. We're going to put these in the correct formats as 1, 3, and that's 4. What would go first?
3.
I wouldn't put 3 yet. This is a review, remember, it's not a letter, this is a review now. Because look, they're talking about, they're saying, I thoroughly recommend it, it's in cinemas all over. So for a review, when you're looking at a movie review, what do you look at first?
For title.
Yeah, the title, and that is number 2, well done. So you'd have number 2 first. Then after number 2, you would have a subheading, wouldn't you? Which one do you think is a subheading? Yeah, number 3. You'd have number 2 first, then you'd have number 3 underneath it. So you'd have the title, then you'd have that next. And then what would come next?
1.
Number 1.
I would say 4, yeah. Because you want to explain what it's about first before you start giving a recommendation. Because if you give a recommendation and then explain, it doesn't make sense. And then after that, 1. Brilliant. So let's look at the nice, clean version. Yep, so there you go. So we've got we were all correct. You've got the title here, then you've got the subheading here. So title, subheading, then you've got all the information about what the movie is about, and then you've got a recommendation and saying that it's available in cinemas from Friday. Yeah. So remember, a letter is slightly different layout, and a review is a different layout. So let's go on to number 3. So this is an instruction. It's a manual. So there's a lot of different information here. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, hold on. I'm going to bulk these up to get the answer. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's a lot of information here. 10. So what would go first? So think about what would go first over here. You'd obviously need a title, wouldn't you?
7.
Yeah. So 7 would go first. And then you've got, what, sorry?
6.
Could it be 6 next?
6, not yet. 6 is going to be, do you remember the manuals where you had a steps here and then you'd have a section, a separate box telling you other steps that could be ingredients or it could be like steps and like what do you call it?
What about
Pieces, yeah. Where it would tell you you've got this screws that many pieces of wood. So it wouldn't be 6, it would be, so I know 7 is just fennel wedges with harissa, but what is fennel wedges with harissa? I don't know what it is. Is there anything on here telling me what fennel wedges with harissa is?
5.
5 is one large fennel, but I would go for 8. It's a mixed yogurt and harissa. This is a subheading. It's telling me that it's harissa with a mixed yogurt. If you see, that's the title there, and this is the subheading over here. So I would go with 8 next.
9.
So number 9, yes, definitely, I would do that. That's correct. And then what would you do next? So 9 is done. Well done.
10.
Yep.
10.
I think the only confusing part was the title and the subtitle. And then after 10.
2.
1.
Oh, sorry, I've not numbered this one, have I? That should be 1. So number 2, Greek yogurt. But before you do Greek yogurt, you need a title for that, don't you? So where's the title for that one?
6.
Yeah. So you'd go 6. And then you would go, you could go in any way, to be honest, but then I'd just go 2,
3, 4.
3, 4, yeah. And 5. To be honest, I probably could have just sectioned this off into one box here, and that would have been easier. And then at the end, so this is the, you got number 1 left over, yeah. So you have your title, you have your subtitle, you've got your instructions, so this bit here and this bit here. Then you go onto another side and you write your ingredients. Then you put down what ingredients there, and then right at the end you give a suggestion. You're telling us that you'd serve it cool with a chilled glass of wine. And I'll show you the nice clean one. There you go. See? So you've got your title, your subtitle, your instructions, and then you've got all your ingredients, and then it's telling you serve it cool. And then you've got one last one now. So you're all doing really well on this. Well done. It's good practice just to get used to seeing these. So you got 1, 2, got 3, 4. This one is 5 and 6. So this is a bit of information about something. It looks like an article to me on here, especially when I look at the heading on here. So what do you think would go first on here?
6.
Yeah. 100%. So 6 would go first. And then what do you think would go next?
2.
2 is telling you the largest part of the celebrations. It's good, but before that, I want to know a bit more information about where it is and what's happening, why are they there.
5.
So I would put 5 down next year. Good job. And then, what would you do next? Sometimes, remember, articles have headings and subheadings.
3.
I would go for 4. Yeah, 4 instead. So we've got rid of 4, we've got rid of 5 and 6. So after 4, it's telling you about the parade now. So is there any information on here about the parade? So you got information about food in one section, you got information about the celebrations in another section. We want the information about the parade, not the food. Number 2, yeah. And then after that, I would have another subheading.
3.
3, fantastic.
1.
And then 1. Now, I know especially when you look at articles and things, it looks like, oh my goodness, there's too much information. Just split it up, see what makes sense. I mean, you could have possibly gone plenty of food first and then talked about the food and then gone about on the parade. But because we know that they're talking about the parade, the important information is to talk about that first and then go on and give sub-information, extra information. So you're going on, you've talked about the parade, and then you've gone on and said there's this type of food. There were so many foods from different countries all over the place. So yeah, so you've got your title over here. It was correct the way you did. Then you've got how many people celebrated, where it was. It was in Manchester and Chinatown. There were record numbers. And then you've got an out on the parade subheading. Then you've got information about that. Then you've got plenty of food. Then you've got information about that. So everything is just split up. So first we talk about the main heading. Then you have a bit of information about what the Chinese New Year was. And then you go talk about the actual parade and information, then food and information. So it breaks it up. So that was it for organised writing. I've got a piece of homework that I want you to do. It's not very long because I sent you 2 activities yesterday. I don't want to overload you with it. Now, on this section, I just want you to draw on this paper. So either print it out and draw it or use the insert option and put text boxes into it. It's up to you, whatever you're comfortable with. So what we want you to do on this is writing formats. I want you to sketch a format for each of these writing questions. So you don't need to write anything. You're just going to sketch it out in the blocks. So the first one is telling you what is a news article. And when it says we don't want you to write anything, we mean we don't want you to write an article. We don't want you to write a report. But I would like you to tell me, is it a heading you're sketching? Is it a subheading? Is it a text? I'd like you to label the boxes, please. So the first one is done for you. It's a news article. So you've got a heading, subheading, text, subheading, and text. And then you're going to do, in the section 2, you're going to put a box for letter. So let's see if I can help you out with that one. So if I'm doing a letter, I would have, this is the address for the person I'm sending it to. This is my address. This is a date. This is a salutation, so a hello dear, how are you? Then this is my main body of text. And then I would have just a signing off at the bottom. Sorry, my boxes aren't great, but you get the idea. So that's all you want. And then because I can't really write very well with this pointer, I'd like you to just put down what it is. So address, I've got sender's address here. I've got date. And so on with that text. And that, yeah. So just draw a couple of boxes into each one. So number 2, just refer back up to here. It'll tell you exactly what you're meant to be doing for each one. So number 2 is a letter, 3 is an advert, and so on. Great. So has anybody got any questions they'd like to go over or anything you want me to clear up?
No.
Sorry, on the exam, we will have to write or we just have to...
On the actual exam, they will probably show you a couple of templates, and what they'll say is which template looks like it's for a news article, and then you would click on that one. Or it would give you a number of boxes and you just place them into the order. Normally, because of time, what normally happens is that there'll be templates available for you, and they'll have a question on the top, and it'll say which of these templates is for an advert, and you'd click on A, B, C, or D in that type of format. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Because you don't really have that much time for it. I think it's an hour that you get, and they don't want you to be thinking about drawing things.
Okay.
Fantastic. So I've already emailed this to all of you. Please send me a message if you realise that you don't have it on the group, and I'll forward it to you again. But you should always all have it, and hopefully if you can get it back to me by Monday, I'll mark and I'll give you feedback on that day as well.
Okay, thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.
You
Good
too.
day.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.